Your phone buzzes. You check it. Nothing important. 20 minutes gone. You've done this 96 times today, and you'll do it 96 times tomorrow, because the device in your pocket was designed by the same scientists who perfected slot machines. This is the addiction economy. But this isn't just about personal willpower. You're fighting against some of the most sophisticated behavioral manipulation ever created, designed by teams of engineers who studied your brain's reward systems to keep you scrolling indefinitely. The man behind much of this manipulation is Chamath Palihapitiya, Facebook's former vice president of user growth from 2007 to 2011. During his time there, he helped Facebook add 650 million users, using what he now calls short-term, dopamine-driven feedback loops. In a stunning 2017 confession, Palihapitiya admitted he feels tremendous guilt about his time at Facebook. Your behaviors, you don't realize it, but you are being programmed. This programming isn't accidental. It's the result of deliberate design choices that exploit fundamental brain chemistry. When you get a notification, like, or comment, your brain releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter involved in addiction to cocaine, gambling, and other substances. Stanford psychiatrist Dr. Anna Lemke explains that just as the hypodermic needle delivers drugs like heroin, the smartphone is the modern-day hypodermic needle, delivering digital dopamine for a wired generation. The most insidious part? The biggest dopamine hit doesn't come from receiving the like. It comes from the uncertainty of whether you'll get one. This is called variable reward scheduling, the same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. Stanford research revealed that every major social media platform has built this gambling psychology directly into their design. Consider TikTok's algorithm. Users spend an average of 89 minutes daily on the platform, trapped in what researchers call a dopamine slot machine. Videos as short as 6 seconds create rapid-fire addiction cycles. The For You page delivers 95% algorithm-curated content with variable reward timing that keeps your brain in constant anticipation. There are no natural stopping points, just infinite scroll that eliminates any cue to pause. The statistics reveal the devastating scope of this manipulation. Generation Z spends over 6 hours daily on their phones, with 69% openly admitting addiction. Teenagers aged 13 to 17 average over 7 hours daily, primarily on social media. Most disturbing, teens who use smartphones for more than 5 hours daily are 71% more likely to display suicide risk factors compared to those limiting usage to 1 hour. But how did we get here? The journey began in 2008 when Lauren Brichter invented the pull-to-refresh feature for Twitter. This seemingly innocent innovation introduced what researchers now recognize as a powerful addiction mechanism. The anticipation created by pulling down and waiting for new content triggers massive dopamine surges, and it's the uncertainty that's thrilling and potentially addictive. Tristan Harris, former Google design ethicist turned technology critic, watched this manipulation evolve from the inside. In 2013, while at Google, he authored a presentation called A Call to Minimize Distraction and Respect Users' Attention that went viral internally. Harris had studied persuasive technology at Stanford and recognized the dangerous path the industry was taking. By 2015, Harris left Google to found what would become the Center for Humane Technology. He began speaking publicly about what he called human downgrading, an interconnected system of addiction, distraction, isolation, and polarization designed to capture human attention for profit. Their business model is to create a society that is addicted, outraged, polarized, performative, and disinformed. That's just the fundamentals of how it works. The evidence of intentional manipulation runs deep. Internal company documents revealed in recent lawsuits show Meta researchers acknowledging that Instagram is a drug and were basically pushers. TikTok's internal reports noted that minors do not have executive mental function to control their screen time. These weren't accidental discoveries, they were calculated assessments of products designed to exploit psychological vulnerabilities. Companies like Dopamine Labs took this manipulation to its logical extreme. They created AI software literally named Skinner after behaviorist B.F. Skinner, which monitors user responses and optimizes notifications to maximize addiction. Co-founder Ramsey Brown explained their philosophy. Dopamine is our brain's way of recording what's worth doing again. The Dopamine API is a tool that allows any app to become addictive. The neurological impact is profound and measurable. Recent studies show that heavy social media use decreases gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex, the the same brain region affected by cocaine use. EEG research demonstrates that short-form video consumption creates prolonged beta and gamma brain activity even after exposure ends, contributing to attention difficulties and increased cognitive load. Your brain literally changes structure in response to this manipulation. Dr. Adam Alter from NYU explains that companies have systematically removed stopping cues, those brief moments like reaching the bottom of a screen that suggest you might want to move on to something else. Without these natural pause points, your brain loses the ability to disengage. The manipulation extends to emotional control. Social media companies deliberately withhold likes and release them in batches to create disappointment followed by excitement cycles. This emotional roller coaster keeps users checking constantly, experiencing what researchers call phantom vibrations, the sensation that your phone is vibrating when it isn't, as your brain develops heightened vigilance about missing notifications. The scale of this crisis cannot be overstated. In 2024, active social media users worldwide surpassed 5 billion and are projected to reach over 6 billion by 2028. Nearly a third of American adults regularly engage in doom scrolling, with millennials and Gen Z showing even higher rates. Most concerning, 6.4% of college students now show signs of clinical TikTok addiction. Even the tech executives who created these systems protect their own children from them. Chamath Palihapitiya gives his children no screen time whatsoever, saying they don't get to use any devices. The irony is stark. The people who built these addiction machines refuse to let their own families use them. The legal reckoning has begun. A multi-district litigation filed in 2022 now includes over 2,400 cases against Meta, TikTok, Snap, and YouTube, alleging they deliberately designed platforms to create addiction in minors. In January 2026, the first jury trial began, where Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram head Adam Mosseri testified about thousands of pages of internal documents revealing the company's knowledge of their product's addictive design. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy has called for tobacco-style warning labels on social media platforms, stating that when you put that vulnerable brain in the setting of all of these features that would seek to bring them back and keep them on the platform, it is very hard for a young person to pull themselves away. Imagine pitting a young person against the best product engineers in the world who are using the most cutting-edge brain science to figure out how to maximize the time you spend on a platform. That is the definition of an unfair fight. There is hope for recovery, but it requires understanding the magnitude of what you're fighting. According to Stanford research, a full month away from addictive technology is typically needed to reset dopamine reward pathways, the same timeline required for recovery from substance addiction. This dopamine fast can decrease anxiety and depression while restoring your ability to enjoy modest rewards again. The statistics show a growing desire for change. Over half of Americans want to cut down on phone usage in 2025, a 33% increase from 2023. 72% of Gen Z believes their mental health would improve if apps were less addictive. Searches for digital detox have tripled compared to 2023. You are not weak for struggling with this addiction. You're fighting against billions of dollars in research and engineering specifically designed to override your self-control. The first step toward freedom is recognizing that your scrolling habits aren't a personal failing. They're the intended outcome of one of the most sophisticated manipulation systems ever created. The question isn't whether you can resist these platforms forever. The question is whether you're ready to acknowledge that the game is rigged and start playing by different rules entirely.